Yes. My name is Mark Anthony Daniels. I'm 52 years old. And on July 14th, 2024, in Butler, Pennsylvania, a guide protecting the President of the United States. I've been with the Secret Service since 2003, and 21 years of my life spent in black suits and earpieces, scanning crowds, calculating angles, watching hands. I'd protected President Bush through his second term, stood post during Obama's inauguration, and when President Trump came into office, I was assigned to his detail. My wife Linda used to joke that I love the job more than I love sleep. Maybe she was right. I had two daughters, Emma, 19, and Grace, 16. Both of them thought I had the coolest job in the world when they were little. By the time they were teenagers, they just wanted me home more. I missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of dance recitals. But I told myself I was serving something bigger, protecting democracy, keeping the republic safe. That day in Pennsylvania, the air was thick and hot. The rally was packed, thousands of people waving flags, wearing red hats, chanting. I was positioned near the motorcade, eyes sweeping the perimeter like I'd done 1,000 times before. Everything felt routine, until it wasn't. The first shot cracked through the air like thunder. My training kicked in before my brain could process it. I moved toward the president, but the second shot, I felt it before I heard it. A sledgehammer to my chest. My legs gave out. I hit the pavement hard, tasting copper and asphalt. People were screaming. Agents were shouting into their radios. I tried to breathe, but my lungs wouldn't work. My vision started closing in from the edges, like someone was pulling a black curtain across my eyes. And then the sound stopped. Not faded. Stopped. Like someone hit mute on the entire world. I wasn't on the ground anymore. I was standing. But not in Pennsylvania. I was in a field wide open. Golden grass stretching forever in every direction. The sky wasn't blue or gray. It was light, pure light, but it didn't hurt to look at. It felt like warmth on my face, like the first morning of spring after a long winter. I looked down at my hands. No blood, no pain. I touched my chest where the bullet had hit. Nothing. Mark. The voice came from behind me, calm, steady. I turned around. He was standing maybe 10 feet away. A man dressed in white, but not like a costume. It was simple, clean. His face, I can't describe it the way I want to. It wasn't that he looked like anything specific. It was more that when I looked at him, I felt like I was looking at someone I'd been searching for my whole life without knowing it. His eyes were kind, deep, like they held every answer to every question I'd ever had. I knew who he was before he said another word. Jesus, I whispered. He smiled. Not a big smile, just enough to let me know he'd been waiting for me. Your mission isn't over, Mark. I shook my head. I got shot. I'm dead, aren't I? Your heart stopped, he said, walking closer. But I didn't call you home yet. I called you here. Why? He stopped a few feet in front of me. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter, but somehow it filled everything. You've guarded men your whole life. Now I'll show you what no man can guard against. Before I could ask what he meant, the field disappeared. I was above the earth, not in space, but high enough that I could see the entire United States spread out below me like a glowing map. Cities flickered like tiny lights. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, Washington, D.C. It was beautiful. But then I noticed something. The lights were dimming. One by one, they started going out, not all at once. Slowly, like someone was walking through a house turning off lamps. I saw people in the streets, angry faces, shouting, fists in the air. It wasn't war. There were no explosions, no foreign armies. It was Americans against Americans. Neighbor against neighbor. The hatred was thick, like smoke I could almost taste. What is this? I asked. Jesus stood beside me, his face calm but serious. The spirit of confusion is spreading. Mark, America will not fall by an enemy's sword. It will fall from within. I felt sick. Then we have to stop it. We have to warn people. Look closer. The image zoomed in. I saw Washington, D.C., the Capitol building gleaming white under the sun, but shadows moved around it. Not physical shadows, something darker, spiritual. I don't know how I knew that, but I did. They were like smoke with weight, circling the building, whispering into ears I couldn't see. The pride of men will be their stumbling block, Jesus said. They believe they can save themselves, but they've forgotten where true power comes from. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. My chest ached, not from the bullet, from something heavier. "Please," I said, "let me go back. Let me tell them what's coming." Jesus turned to me. His eyes were filled with something I can only describe as sorrow mixed with certainty. "What you're about to see must happen. The warnings were already given long ago. They chose not to listen." "Then why show me?" "Because someone must carry the testimony, even if the world doesn't want to hear it." The scene shifted again. This time I was standing at the edge of a massive outdoor rally. I recognized the setup, immediately the stage, the flags, the red, white, and blue banners, and there he was. President Trump, older than I'd last seen him, his face more lined but his voice still strong, still defiant. He was mid-speech, pointing at the crowd, and they were roaring back at him. Then everything slowed down. I saw a figure on a rooftop, a rifle, a scope, the crosshairs settling on the president's face. "No!" I shouted. I tried to run toward the stage, but my feet wouldn't move. I was frozen. The shot rang out, but I didn't see where it landed. The vision dissolved before impact. Jesus was beside me again. There will be another attempt, and another. The images came faster now, like flipping through a dark photo album. A young man with brown hair and sharp eyes, standing on a university stage in front of hundreds of students. I didn't know his name, but I heard it whispered around me, Charlie Kirk. He was speaking with passion, with fire. Then his face went blank. The light left his eyes. He crumpled forward, and chaos erupted. A senator in a Navy suit, mid-debate on a stage with bright lights and cameras. He was gesturing, making a point, when suddenly he grabbed his chest and collapsed. Medics rushed in. The broadcast cut to black. A third attempt. This one I didn't recognize. The face was blurred, the location unfamiliar, but I saw the same shadowed hand behind it, the same darkness pulling strings I couldn't see. "Why are you showing me this?" My voice cracked. "If I can't stop it, why do I need to see it?" Jesus' voice was gentle but firm, because the attacks are not just against men, Mark. They are against hope itself. The enemy knows that when leaders fall, hearts grow cold. When voices are silenced, fear takes root. Tears ran down my face. I didn't wipe them away. Then what's the point? If we can't stop it, if it all just burns down? It will not all burn. He raised his hand, and the vision changed one final time. I saw the American flag. It was torn down the middle. One half was covered in ash, dark and heavy. The other half glowed like fire, bright and alive. I didn't understand it at first. But then I saw people, thousands of them on their knees. Not in defeat, in prayer. The light from the glowing half of the flag began to spread. It moved like water, like rivers, flowing into small towns and cities I'd never heard of. Not the big places, the quiet ones, the forgotten ones. And everywhere the light touched, people stood up, changed, faces wet with tears but eyes full of something I hadn't seen in the earlier visions. Purpose. After the shaking, Jesus said, there will be awakening. The proud will be humbled, the hidden will be exposed. And my people, those who have been quiet, those who have been waiting, they will rise. I watched as the light kept spreading. It didn't cover the whole country, but it covered enough. Pockets of hope in the middle of chaos. The hands of justice and mercy will move together, Jesus continued. What has been done in darkness will come to light, but those who have sown in faithfulness will reap in glory. The image began to fade. The light grew brighter and brighter until I couldn't see anything except white. Mark, your time is not finished. Go back. Bear witness to what you've seen. But you said I can't warn them about who or when. You cannot, because it must happen. But you can tell them this. After every shaking, there will be a rising. Tell them to prepare their hearts, not their plans. Tell them to pray, not panic, and tell them that I have not given up on America. I am giving it one last test. I felt my chest tighten, not with pain, but with something else, longing. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay in that light forever. I don't want to go back, I whispered. Jesus stepped closer. He placed his hand on my shoulder. I felt warmth flood through me, from my head to my feet. I know, but your daughters still need their father, and your wife still needs her husband, and this nation still needs those who have seen the truth and are willing to speak it, even when no one wants to listen. I broke. I mean really broke. I sobbed like a child. I'm scared. What if I forget? What if I say the wrong thing? You won't forget, and you won't be alone. He squeezed my shoulder once, gently, then he stepped back. The light exploded. I gasped. My chest felt like it was being crushed. Someone was pounding on it hard, rhythmic. I heard shouting. "We've got a pulse. He's back." My eyes flew open, blinding white lights. Faces in masks leaning over me. The smell of antiseptic and sweat. Pain roared back into my body all at once. My ribs screamed. My lungs burned. Mark, stay with us." I tried to speak, but my throat was raw. I coughed, tasted blood. Someone slipped an oxygen mask over my face. 6 minutes, a voice said. He was gone for 6 minutes. I turned my head. I was in the back of an ambulance. The doors were still open. Outside, I could see the chaos of the rally police lights flashing, people crying, agents running. The motorcade was already gone. "Sir, don't move. You took a bullet to the chest. You're lucky to be alive." Lucky. I almost laughed. But I didn't have the strength. They kept me in the hospital for 2 weeks. Cracked ribs, bruised lung, but no major organ damage. The bullet had hit my vest at an angle and stopped just short of going through. The doctors called it a miracle. I didn't argue. Linda came the first night. She sat by my bed and held my hand without saying a word. When I finally told her what happened, what I saw, she just cried and nodded. She believed me. She didn't ask questions. She just believed. My daughters visited the next day. Emma brought me a card she'd made. Grace just hugged me and wouldn't let go. I didn't tell them what I saw. Not yet. Maybe not ever. The Secret Service put me on medical leave, then early retirement. I didn't fight it. I knew my time in that world was over. But I couldn't stay silent. Years later, I reached out to a retired pastor I'd known for a long time, Pastor Bill. I trusted him. I asked if I could record my testimony privately just so someone would have it. He agreed. We sat in his office one afternoon with a small recorder between us. I told him everything, every detail I could remember. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. "You know people won't believe you," he finally said. "I know. And you can't prove any of it." "I know." "Then why tell me?" I looked at him. "Because Jesus told me to. Not to warn people about the who or the when, but to tell them that after every shaking, there will be a rising. And that this test, whatever's coming, it's already begun." Pastor Bill nodded slowly. He reached over and turned off the recorder. "I'll keep this safe, and when the time is right, I'll share it." I never gave interviews. I never went public. I just went back to living my life. But every day, I pray. For my family, for my country, for the leaders whose names I saw in those visions. And I pray that when the shaking comes, people will remember that the rising is always close behind. If you're watching this, then Pastor Bill kept his word. I don't know when you're hearing this. I don't know what's already happened, but I need you to understand something. When Jesus told me not to warn them, I thought at first he was being cruel, but then I realized he wasn't giving up on America. He was giving it one last test, a test of faith, a test of humility. A test to see who would still choose him when everything else was falling apart. You can't stop what's coming. I couldn't, but you can prepare your heart. You can get on your knees. You can choose hope over fear, prayer over panic, and faith over confusion. I died for 6 minutes, and in those 6 minutes, I saw the end and the beginning. I saw the shaking and the rising, and I'm telling you now, don't lose hope. Because after the darkness, the light always comes back. Jesus is real. Heaven is real. And he hasn't forgotten us. That test I told you about? It's already begun. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.